This is Rob Armstrong reporting on the CBS radio network. There was no absence of comment about the president's proposal to turn control of most federal social programs over to the states. There was a complete absence of unity on the subject. New York Governor Hugh Carey said it is not a new federalism, rather a new feudalism. Illinois Governor James Thompson, on the other hand, welcomed the move as a basic change in the relationship between state and federal government. Democratic Senator David Pryor of Arkansas said poor people are justified in their concern.
The fear is that the state legislatures will not be as sensitive, let's say, to human needs as the federal Congress and the federal establishment has been. And I think that's the issue.
California Democratic Congressman Ronald Dellum says the whole thing is a smokescreen.
What this administration has done, in my estimation, is skillfully maneuvered the battlefield to 50 different capitals in the United States where black and third world people and poor human beings will be struggling over who gets the lion's share of the crumb.
President Reagan labeled the critics of his proposal as mindless dinosaurs. Other administration officials said the country no longer needs big government to improve the conditions of the poor and elderly. CBS News continues after this message.
The Wall Street Journal, in a recent article, explained how the new tax law, along with advanced planning, can help you keep more of what you make during 1982. If information like this is important to you, have a pencil ready for an offer from the Journal that can help keep you informed of everything happening anywhere in business that could affect your future and your company's future. Other Journal articles reveal that the Reagan administration will be more selective from now on in enforcing antitrust suits against big business. You would have read about the growing number of stocks that are going for bargain rates, and that many Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans are seeking steep increases in premiums due to financial difficulties. The Wall Street Journal. It's all the business news you need when you need it. Right now, you can get 26 weeks of the Journal, one for every business day of the week, for about $1.80 per week. That's just $47 for 26 weeks, about $1.80 per week. So if you're serious about business in the continental U.S., call toll-free 800-228-6600. That's 800-228-6600, except in Nebraska. You'll be billed later.
A hijacked Colombian Airlines jet remains on the ground in the city of Cali, Colombia. There was a report about an hour and a half ago that the jet tried to take off but collided with a truck. There were reports of explosions on board at that time. Earlier, the hijackers and government troops exchanged gunfire, and then the hijackers released as many as 86 of the 128 people they held hostage. The hijackers reportedly want another plane to replace the damaged craft they now hold. They say if they don't get a new plane, they'll blow this one up along with the remaining hostages. In Boston Harbor, the search continued today for two men missing and feared drowned after a DC-10 slid off the runway and into the water last Saturday night. Chris Kelly has more.
For the Metcalf family and their friends, these have been days and nights of anguish. They tried, they said, and were rebuffed in getting information about Walter and Leo, the father and son who were missing after the end of World Airways Flight 30.
I couldn't get through. I couldn't get through at all. I even had the telephone operators from both Boston and New York on the line with me trying to help me get through, and they had no success either. I said that it was like 11:30 Saturday night and no one had heard from them, and can they help me? And the woman who answered said, no, I'm sorry, we're very busy here and we can't help you.
In the meantime, investigators thought everyone had been accounted for. World Airways insisted that was so, until the family itself got officials to check again.
It's inhuman that people would have to suffer for 3 days and have to play investigators on their own.
Today, divers searched the harbor waters near the plane for the bodies of Walter and Leo Metcalf. The effort was fruitless, said one diver. The tides are too swift here. Chris Kelly, CBS News, Boston.
Secretary of State Alexander Haig met today with Israeli Prime Minister Begin. Afterward, Haig said they made some slight progress toward breaking the impasse on the question of Palestinian autonomy. Haig travels to Egypt tomorrow. Now this.
If you've been reading about wise money management in your favorite publications, you've undoubtedly heard about Dreyfus Liquid Assets, one of the world's largest money market funds, and about the big yields you can get on your money right now. Start with as little as $2,500. Make added investments as low as $100. With Dreyfus Liquid Assets, your money is yours whenever you need it. Phone for it, have it sent to your bank, or write a redemption check for cash or to pay your larger bills. You keep right on earning that high yield, compounded daily until your check clears. No penalties on interest, no sales charge, no charge for the checks. It's so simple, sensible, convenient. But find out for yourself. Call toll-free 800-228-5000 for free information and a prospectus, including management fee, charges, and expenses. Read the prospectus carefully before investing or sending money. Discover how Dreyfus Liquid Assets can help you get the lion's share of today's high money market rates. 800-228-5000. Toll-free 800-228-5000.
A unanimous voice vote in the Pennsylvania State Senate today called on liquor stores in the state to stop selling Russian vodka until martial law is lifted in Poland. The resolution sponsor says it is just a small move to tell the Soviets that at least one state doesn't approve of events in Poland. West Virginia passed a similar resolution last week. I'm Rob Armstrong, CBS News.
Attention money market certificate investors. Current market conditions have caused interest rates to drop and fluctuate dramatically. Now, if you're looking for a safe and effective place to put your hard-earned dollars, then listen to this. Fidelity Securities Corporation of Southfield is offering a way of staying ahead of rising costs and the inflation syndrome. Fidelity Securities, as of today, is guaranteeing rates of 16% for 5 years and 16.5% for 10 years on certificates of deposit for minimum investments of $5,000. So why continue riding the money market roller coaster when you can receive a guaranteed high rate of return year by year from the Fidelity Securities Corporation of Southfield? These are registered securities and are limited to Michigan residents only. Call Fidelity Securities at 559-8832 before you finalize any investment decisions. Call them today at 559-8832. They also specialize in funding IRA rollovers as well as pension and profit-sharing plans. And now,
the CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Despite her modern tourist hotels, her up-to-date army, and her sophisticated position among world powers, Egypt remains an ancient land wrapped in mystery. The visitor today still thinks of Egypt in terms of the dynasties of the pharaohs. That is the lure of a people who believe so thoroughly in immortality that all of life was geared to enjoying what was to come. Egypt, the land of the living dead.
So scary, Hank.
The first total eclipse I've ever seen.
After that stark, blinding sunlight, it's unbelievable that we're sitting here in total darkness.
Once in a lifetime. It doesn't happen to many people. We're lucky.
I wonder.
Our mystery drama, A Handful of Dust, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Paul Hecht and Teri Keane. I'll be back shortly with Act One. What do doctors recommend to avoid constipation? These days, doctors stress the importance of fiber in the diet. Food fiber that helps the system regulate itself naturally. Metamucil is the laxative made from natural fiber, no chemical stimulants. So for occasional constipation, doctors recommend Metamucil more often than any other laxative. Try Metamucil powder or pre-measured packets of Metamucil Instant Mix, regular or orange flavor. Read label and follow directions.
Who's made a difference in your life? Chances are it's a volunteer. President Reagan will honor 20 volunteers with the 1982 President's Volunteer Action Award. Now's your chance to make a difference. Nominate a volunteer to win. For the forms you need, write the President's Volunteer Action Awards, Box 37488, Washington, D.C., 20013.
Jack and Joe went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his gun, and Joe came tumbling after.
Childhood accidents are a normal part of growing up, and some of them just can't be prevented. But too many children undergo other types of suffering, and it can be prevented. It's called child abuse.
Child abuse is physical, emotional, or sexual abuse of children, and it's also neglect. Every year, millions of helpless children endure child abuse in one form or another. Approximately 5,000 children a year die from it, and it's no accident.
This is Roy Rogers.
And Dale Evans.
Reminding you that child abuse can be prevented. Write Prevent Child Abuse, Box 2866, Chicago, Illinois, 60690.
That's Prevent Child Abuse, Box 2866, Chicago. Remember, abused children are helpless unless you help. A public service message of this station, the Advertising Council, and the National Committee for Prevention of Child Abuse.
The skyline of the Nile is dominated on either side by the outline of the pyramids, the Sphinx, the great valleys of the kings and queens, the fabulous remains of the great temples, Karnak, Luxor, Esna, Abu Simbel. The names are a roll of muffled drums that celebrate the belief of a people that the true life was after death, that the body could be preserved for all eternity, that, like the god Osiris, man, too, could rise from the grave. Or woman.
On you, Ankotep, who thought to deny me the glory of the afterlife, my undying curse. And from my living tomb, threefold be the curse on the woman Neshtari, who stole you from me. Cheated of her death, down through the ages, I will wait for my revenge on her daughter, till the end of time.
Did I get your name right, Miss Kamen?
It's Kamen. C-A-M-M-O-N.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had it K-A-M-E-N. I'm sorry about that. What shall I call you?
You could try Nesh.
Is that your first name?
You better believe it.
What is it, Finnish?
No, just a nickname. My name's Vanessa, but the family shortened it to Nesh. I kind of got stuck with it.
Okay, Nesh.
What's your name?
Just plain Hank.
Hank what?
Theodore?
Dr. Conrad? Theodore's son?
Yeah, I guess I'll have to plead guilty on that.
Not so plain Hank after all. So your mother's that smashing-looking Egyptian princess, Marcia?
No, not a princess, and not my mother. She's my father's second wife.
I thought she looked a little young.
For my father?
No, for you. I mean, to be your mother. You know what I meant. Never mind, I'm still impressed.
By Marcia?
How can anyone that young and lovely-looking be an archaeologist?
Well, you seem to have the bug. You're not bad-looking.
Oh, I'm just a little volunteer digger. That's another thing I'm impressed by. How come you were sent to pick up a nobody like me?
Well, I just happened to be in Cairo. Dad asked me to pick up a whole bunch of you. I didn't know the rest would get bumped.
Oh, the group will be here on the next plane. They couldn't get out of Kennedy. The others, I mean. I was just lucky. Are we going straight to the dig?
Well, we were supposed to, but I guess now I'd better tread water till the rest of your contingent wafts in. I guess I better find you a place for the night. You heavy on money?
Are you kidding? I'm on a shoestring.
Well, there's Dad's apartment in Giza, but I'd be bunking in there, too.
Well, maybe I could find a youth hostel.
It'd be easier if you were with me. Once I pick up the rest of the group, we gotta load up this old Land Rover and make tracks. It's a good 300 miles to the dig site.
You've got a roommate. But it's only fair to tell you, I'm a karate black belt.
Okay.
Listen, while we're waiting for the rest of the gang, you've got to take me sightseeing.
Listen, let me check that out with Dad, huh? If he okays my hanging around for the others, you have a guide.
Conrad? That you?
Oh, yes, Marcia.
Oh, where have you been?
There was a call for me on the radio phone. Hank from Cairo.
Oh, anything wrong?
No, not really. The volunteer diggers got split up. Some of them won't arrive till tomorrow. He wanted to know if he should wait for them.
What did you tell him?
Why not? No sense wasting the gas and the time and an extra trip.
It's a waste of time to bring them here at all.
Now, don't let's start that again, Marcia.
I have to, Conrad, for your sake.
For my sake?
Darling, it's your health I'm thinking about. You're overdoing. You haven't got the strength to waste on a hopeless cause like this.
I wish you didn't feel called on to keep bringing up the difference in our ages.
You know that's not what I mean.
Well, I know only that I'm an old man with a young wife. And I'm afraid no matter how I try to fight it, a guilty conscience.
Conrad, darling, I thought we had all that out before we got married. You are all the man I ever want or need.
Then don't try to undermine me.
I don't, sweetheart. Never. Except for that one thing.
What?
Your heart.
Oh, for heaven's sake, am I never to be allowed to forget that silly little attack? Oh, let's stop all this, Marcia. I prefer not to discuss it.
Conrad, please. Let me have the courage to tell you what all your little yes men won't. For once, you've backed a loser. You're chasing an empty dream. You're not going to find Mercegret's tomb. It's an illusion.
That is one bet I'd like to take.
What makes you so sure? She's only a legend. Probably never existed.
No, I'm convinced she did, Marcia. And you won't change my mind. I'm totally sure that in this valley, we are sooner or later going to exhume the tomb of the legendary Mercegret.
Selim doesn't agree.
Oh, Selim's a bumbling bureaucrat.
Oh, that's not fair. He's very well thought of in the government. No matter how much equipment you bring in from America, it cannot dig through those sifting sands. You can never find the mastaba of Mercegret or any other of the Egyptian royalty, even if their tombs existed.
I can try. I know that Mercegret's does.
How?
I just know.
But what purpose would it serve if you found it? If the legend is believed that she was buried without a single artifact, entombed alive with none of her household possessions, her jewels, what is the point of searching for her?
I feel that until I have discovered the secret of this enigma, I cannot rest.
Enigma?
Marcia, what dreadful act could a Pharaoh's queen have committed that caused her to be buried alive? And against every belief of the Egyptians, stripped of everything, so that even in death she could find no place in the afterworld.
What do you expect to find?
I don't expect. I know, somehow, that the secret's to be revealed to me. And I will never rest until it is.
Selim?
Yes, Marcia. Did you talk to him?
Of course.
And?
He is determined to continue.
Come here. To the entrance of the tomb, out of the wind. We can't talk here without being overheard. That tomb must never be found again.
I know, but this has become an obsession
He
with
must
him.
be stopped.
How?
Certainly, so there could be no suspicion that it was anything but accident. You would best know how.
Why me?
You are his wife. He has a bad heart, does he not?
The doctors have warned him to be extremely careful.
If only Allah willed him another heart attack.
That could be arranged. An overdose of his medicine could easily kill him.
Then so be it.
Not so fast, my brother. Suppose there were an autopsy.
We can guard against that.
How?
Incapacitate him enough with the medicine so I can drag him to the catacombs. I will arrange his death there to look like an accident, trust me.
Very well. Tonight.
No. His son might be back by then. This afternoon. Does he take his medicine after lunch?
Yes, but these things are better done after dark.
It will seem more logical and real by day. And besides, Allah favors us with dark by then. Pitch black. Don't you remember?
The eclipse. Then after lunch. Yes. Maybe the eclipse is a sign.
The Sphinx. Hank, I can't believe I'm looking at her. It's the strangest feeling. All this, I'm not seeing this for the first time. It's as if I've been here before.
Deja vu. Maybe you've just done too much reading on the subject.
I haven't done all that much.
Okay, take the pyramids, for instance. I'm really a geologist, but I'm assisting my father, one of the world's foremost archaeologists. I should say Egyptologists, but do you think I could have told you who built the third pyramid?
Menkora. He was the son of Chephren.
Good. Who was the son of Cheops, old Cheops' grandson. But who remembers his name outside of the guides, except you?
I do sort of have total recall, but it's not that. I feel kind of steeped in Egyptian history. And it isn't that I've read very much. I don't know how to explain it.
Hey, you don't have to.
It's as if all this stuff, even though it's 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, it's just sitting under this hot, blazing sun about to hatch and come alive again. Don't you get kind of a buzz out of it?
Not usually, but with you around, yeah, I gotta admit, today is kind of funny. Like things were standing still for a moment, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah?
The shadows. Don't you see them?
Yeah, clouds across the sky or something.
Well, there aren't any clouds today. Of course, I'd forgotten. There's an eclipse.
Oh.
No, don't look at the sun. Here, take my glasses.
There is a shadow. A crescent bitten out of one side of it. Oh, here, your glasses so you can see.
No, it's okay. I've got another pair in the rover. Let's get back to it so we can watch the whole thing.
Scary, Hank.
Yeah. The first total eclipse I've ever seen.
After all that stark, blinding sunlight, it's unbelievable that we're sitting here in total darkness.
Once in a lifetime. Doesn't happen to so many people. We're lucky.
I wonder. Hank, there's something evil about to happen. Or that's happened. What's that?
No, it's okay. It's just the radio phone. Hank Theodore here. Yeah? What? But how? Yeah, I'm on my way. I'll be there as soon as I can.
It's something terrible. What is it, Hank?
It's my father. He's dead. He had a heart attack. I gotta get back there. I'll drop you off somewhere.
Couldn't I just go with you? I might be able to help in some way.
Okay. If you want to, it's your vacation. You've got a right to do anything you want to do with it.
It isn't a right. It's what I have to do. I don't know why. That's how it is.
And the Prince of Darkness, Set, will draw his veil across the light of Amun-Ra. And I, Mercegret, will rise again to live out my term. Again to wreak my curse upon the daughter of Neshtari, whoever she may be, to the last and final generation.
Egypt, an eclipse of the sun. A curse not centuries old, but measured in 3 millennia. A fair beginning for a story as stunning and eye-blinding as the reflection of the blazing sun from the white sands. Osiris, the mighty and all-powerful sun god, is all-powerful, except in those moments when he is cast in shadow. In an eclipse, one tragedy has already struck. But how often is the sun found in eclipse? I shall return shortly with Act 2.
Welcome to Meet the Media. Thank you very much. Today I am interviewing radio.
Hello.
Television.
Take a look at this.
Oh, newspaper.
I've been around the longest. Yeah, but you can't change channels on a newspaper. Well, you can't put a TV in the bottom of a bird cage.
Interesting debate. Radio. How is your listenership?
It's up 66% since 1967.
Newspaper?
Yes.
How's your circulation?
It's,
Right.
But I'm happy to say our advertising rates have gone up.
Radio?
Because the cost of radio advertising has not increased as much as the other major media, it's a better deal.
And what about the cost of television?
Film at 11.
Radio in background.
Mm-hmm.
What about creativity?
Well, there are 4 of us sitting in a room pretending to be a radio, a television, a newspaper, and a human being.
That's amusing.
Just an example of radio's creativity.
Radio, red hot, because it works. For the advertiser trying to fight the rising costs of TV and print, the Radio Advertising Bureau can send you more facts. This station can send you more customers.
Hi, I'm Landon Saunders. This is Heartbeat. Are you depressed? Is it hard to get out of bed in the morning? Do you look forward to, well, nothing? Perhaps some chain of events, something you couldn't control, has affected your life. Maybe you've lost your job or experienced the death of a family member or a friend. Whatever the cause, you're depressed. You're not able to shake the feeling of gloom that hangs over your head. Well, I've got news for you, and it's good news. There's a way to handle your depression. And here's one idea. Decide that you have the ability to decide what your life is going to be like and how you're going to feel about life. To get more suggestions on how to handle depression, just put the word depression on a postcard or in a letter and send it to me at this address. Heartbeat, Hartford, Connecticut, 06142. Ask for the Depression Plan. It's free. The address, Heartbeat, Hartford, Connecticut, 06142. This is Heartbeat.
An eclipse of the sun is a transitory thing. Even when total, the longest lasts perhaps 8 minutes. But to anyone who has experienced it, it is a profound and shattering occurrence. It reaffirms the insignificance of man and the majesty of the universe. The most sophisticated of us is awed by it. How profound its effect must have been on ancient civilizations is easy to imagine. How profound it is to be on the characters in our story is yet to be revealed.
What happened, Marcia?
I don't know exactly, Hank.
But you were with him.
When he had the seizure?
The heart attack.
It didn't seem that serious at the time. Otherwise, I'd never have let him go down to the tomb.
What time was this?
It must have been around 4 o'clock, just shortly before the eclipse. I'd forgotten about it, and then when I remembered, I rushed out to try to stop him before it was too late, and...
Well, what do you mean, too late?
Oh, I don't know what I mean. I just had this mad idea. He shouldn't be in Teokan's tomb when the sun was blotted out.
But there are lights inside the excavation. Why would the eclipse bother him?
You know the legend as well as I do. Teokan should be left in peace. And no one should even search for Merthagret's tomb. And no one must. Isn't what's happened proof enough?
Are you trying to say that the statue that fell on my father and killed him was anything but just a terrible accident?
Of course not. Except...
Except what?
Osiris, the sun god, was blinded. Forces of evil ruled the world those few brief moments. And perhaps history repeated itself. You find that ridiculous to believe. Well, you are not born an Egyptian like me.
You believe that sort of nonsense?
I didn't say I did, but too many others may. And when a belief becomes pervasive enough, it can become a terrifying reality. Hank, we've got to face something.
What?
Your father, you, even myself, and Salem are interlopers. We are disturbing the dead. It's time we left them alone.
And abandoned my father's life work?
There are forces here beyond our comprehension. Dark, menacing threats that swirl up from beyond these ancient graves.
Are you trying to suggest that my father's death was anything but just sheer accident?
Hank, I only know I'm afraid. And that I was against this dig from the first. I begged Conrad not to start it. That it should be ended. Merthagret should be left in the tomb. If she is ever released, she could destroy all of us.
A woman dead for 3,000 years.
She was buried alive.
And so by now she should be deader than anyone in the Egyptian necrology. A mummy could still be preserved, but Mercer Gret must long ago have crumbled to dust. Oh, I'd like to complete the job for him.
Hank, I beg you with all my heart, don't try. Let the dead past bury its dead.
It's too soon to make decisions. Just give me time to think.
Hank.
What is it? What is it, Marcia?
I'm so terribly alone. It's only you now. Hold me.
Don't, Marcia. You're too strong for that, and I'm having a hard time myself. We both loved him.
You'll have to speak for yourself, Hank. You know who I loved.
Don't drag that up again. Look, that was puppy love. It never meant anything, and
I don't believe that.
In the name of heaven, Marcia, that's all forgotten and dead.
Your father is dead, Hank. We're the ones who are living now. Come in. Oh, it's you, Selim.
Who were you expecting?
I thought it was Hank.
Ah, your son.
He is not my son.
Forgive me, your husband's son. He has gone down to the diggings. Is he ready to call an end to this exploration?
It's too soon to tell. Why did he go to the diggings?
I don't know. Perhaps to see where the accident happened.
I don't think I understand your tone.
Was it an accident? I thought you had some medicine to stop his heart.
I gave it to him, but he insisted on going to the tomb. He must have had the heart attack there. I suppose your toppling the statue on him was a good idea. It washed out the chance of an autopsy having to be performed.
I had nothing to do with this statue falling.
What? Well, then who?
I had supposed that you had contrived it.
Me? I was here. I wasn't within a quarter of a mile of the tomb. It was pitch dark because of the eclipse. I couldn't have found my way. Why do you lie about it? We both wanted Conrad's death.
Yes, but I had no part in it. The eclipse plunged me in darkness, too.
Then how... Unless my husband stumbled into the statue somehow and dislodged it?
2.5 tons of solid rock, unlikely.
If it wasn't you or me or Conrad, who else could it have been? You mean that Mercer Gret rose from the grave?
Reincarnate. To live out the old curse. To relive the 3,000-year-old legend. Only this time, to bring it to the end she desired.
Hey.
Huh? What's that?
Oh, it's me, Nash. What are you doing here?
Oh, Hank. Well, the tomb was open. Nobody around. I thought it was okay to come in.
Well, there's been nobody working here since my father's death.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I just...
Why did you come in here?
All my life, I've dreamed of really being in a mastaba, an Egyptian tomb. I just couldn't resist.
This tomb of Teokon's has just been re-excavated. That's what we've been working on.
But it was excavated before, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's right. By my father on an earlier expedition. That's when he found the pottery shards with the legend.
The legend?
Yeah, about Teokon's wife, Mercer Gret.
Tell me about it.
I don't really think I'm in the mood for...
Tell me about it, Hank. I want to hear what you know.
Okay. I'm trying to clear my head anyway. Here, come on, let's go and sit on that slab over there. Somewhere around the year 780 B.C., in the 12th or 17th or whatever it was, dynasty, there was an Egyptian pharaoh named Teokon. He was very rich, and, well, the way things were going, he was riding high. He'd combined the upper and lower kingdoms by his marriage to a princess from the other side, but she died. And in his later years, he married a young, ambitious fireball who had a strong desire for the pharaoh's son, Ankotep. The son was only a couple of years younger than his father's new bride, and well, he liked her. Only he never would have done anything about it because of his father. But Mercegret's feelings were something else again. So she knocked off Daddy to get at the son. Only it backfired.
How?
Well, that's where we don't have the whole story. Apparently, the son didn't care for Mercegret all that much, or he'd gotten over the spell, so for whatever reason, he dumped her.
Mercegret?
Yeah.
How?
He dug another tomb, or mastaba, because she had killed his father. He had her buried there, alive.
And it's her tomb you're looking for.
My father was.
But you're not going to continue?
What's the point? She was buried in it with nothing but herself and the casket. Plain stone, unornamented. There's no reason to exhume her, really, except to clear up a 3,000-year-old mystery.
I don't agree.
What do you mean?
The story isn't finished. Not half finished, the way you tell it. Wasn't there a curse of some sort?
From Mercegret?
Yes.
Well, that's not wholly substantiated. It's just inferred from the potsherds and some hints in the hieroglyphics here in Teokon's mastaba.
Isn't the curse written above her burial place?
Well, we don't know. We've never found it yet. Look, why are you so interested in all this, Nash?
Because I have to be. We have to be.
Look,
I'm going to tell you what happened 3,000 years ago, so that at last you will know the truth. And I beg you to help me to live instead of die.
Die? What are you talking about, Nash?
I'm marked for death. Only you can save me.
Look, I have enough trouble without any crazy notions from you, no matter what they are. Look, we'd better get out of here and return to plain life.
We can't, till a lot of things get settled. Oh, don't you see that, Hank?
Come on.
The cards are on the table. You have to know the whole story of the legend.
And you're the one who knows it?
I'd better. My life is on the line.
What does that mean?
If you don't listen to me, I might be dead.
What are you trying to say?
I don't want to complete the curse.
What do you know about it?
Come back 3,000 years. I can tell you how it really was. And I hope to make you believe. So that at last, we can all have peace.
Who is this strange girl who came from America, driven by a secret and special dream? And what is her intimate knowledge of an Egyptian mystery buried over 3,000 years? Is she hinting that she, Hank, his father, and his stepmother are all creatures of reincarnation? I shall return shortly with Act 3.
Just in case the subway is an absolute zoo, just in case you're on the run from 9 to 5, just in case you arrange an evening rendezvous, you've got your Dial.
Dial, the leading deodorant soap, has twice the active ingredient of the No. 2 brand. Twice as much for confidence all day long.
Just in case.
You never know.
Aren't you glad you used Dial?
Weekdays on CBS television. Start your laughs with that normal bunch.
It's normal? No, not a fan.
This will be a blessing in sheep's clothing.
On One Day at a Time. Then stick around for some lip-smacking comedy.
Hey, Alice, your voice is as great as your meatballs.
On Alice and To the Price is Right with the priceless Bob Barker. Don't miss One Day at a Time. Alice and The Price is Right. Weekdays on CBS television.
Hello, this is Max Moran. Do you have a sight problem that prevents you from reading?
I've got good news for you about Choice Magazine Listening, a free service. Every other month, Choice Magazine Listening will send you, free, on phonograph records, 8 hours of selections from leading magazines featuring writers like William Styron, Joyce Carol Oates, John McPhee, Kurt Vonnegut, Art Buchwald, many others. So if you are blind or unable to read regular print, or if you know someone with this problem, write to Listening, Box 10, Port Washington, New York, 11050. We'll also tell you how to get the special record player provided free by the Library of Congress as part of its Talking Book program. So, write Listening, Box 10, Port Washington, New York, 11050, or telephone 516-883-8280. That's 516-883-8280. A public service message on behalf of the nonprofit Lucerna Fund.
Metempsychosis. Now, there's a fascinating word. It describes the passing of a soul into the body of another. Transmigration, or more simply, reincarnation. And it was a doctrine subscribed to, a belief profound among the ancient Egyptians. Perhaps if you are suspending your disbelief in this tale, you could be convinced as strongly as our young American girl who is learning to accept her recall of the past and the history of forgotten kings and queens.
Come on, Nish. I don't know what's got you all shook up, but it's time we got out of here.
Not until I tell you the story.
What story?
The story of all of us that began 3,000 years ago.
Hey, I don't think there's enough oxygen in here. We better get out.
Not until I bring the past alive to show you that for all of us it is being repeated again. Your father, the Pharaoh, your stepmother, his young wife, you, the Prince Ankhotep, and me, the condemned Nishtari. Listen as time unfolds, and remember how it was then.
No, Mercigret, no. I will not go to war with the Upper Kingdom.
But Teokan, Setsat has advised you. They have full granaries to be ravished and stores of gold to be plundered.
I do not attack my brothers because they are more fortunate than I. We have enough to sustain us.
We have little gold and precious stones to line our tombs to carry to the afterworld.
So be it. The gods will welcome us for ourselves, and not the riches we come bearing.
He was very kind and gentle, this Pharaoh Teokan. But his young bride was ambitious and grasping. She was not only anxious for power and plunder, but for something even more lustful to satisfy her passions.
Oh, isn't it glorious?
What, Queen Mother?
The rain, Ankhotep. I welcome it here in our dry country. Doesn't it excite you?
I welcome it, yes. The earth needs it.
That's all. It doesn't stimulate you, thrill you with a promise of fulfillment.
I don't know. Should it?
Does anything thrill you with a promise of fulfillment anymore?
I don't know what you mean.
You know very well what I mean. I used to when I first came to this court.
That was before you were married to my father.
And now, am I so far beyond your reach?
You are my father's wife. My mother.
The first is true, not the second. We are almost the same age.
What are you suggesting?
I was given in marriage to your father. I would have preferred you, the son.
You must be mad, Mercigret. Even the thoughts you are expressing could lead to death.
Not so long as they remain a secret, shared between us, Ankhotep.
A secret I cannot share. You are my father's wife. There can be nothing between us but my respect for you as the Queen Mother.
I hope you're very sure of that.
I am. I respect and revere my father. He is the living symbol of Egypt.
But if he should die?
The Pharaoh Teokan is in the prime of life. He has many years ahead to spread his glory and his fame.
if Teokan had been allowed to live out his allotted span. But Mersegret had other ideas, as did her evil brother, Setsut.
You sent for me, Majesty.
We are alone. No need to stand on ceremony. Setsut, he must go.
The Pharaoh?
Who else?
Because you cannot have the son without him gone.
That is my affair. There's more. Far more at stake than that. You wish to have the magic word to unleash our armies against the other kingdoms.
Ah, yes.
If I were seated in the throne of power, you could have it.
There is a son to succeed him.
Let me take care of the son after I have taken care of the father.
In the prime of his life, the pharaoh, Teokan, fell sick of a lingering fever that none of the palace healers could identify. It was at that same time that the prince, Ankotep, succumbed to a malady just as fatal. In a last diplomatic effort to forge better relations between the upper and lower kingdoms, the Princess Nishtari was sent as a delegate to the throne of Teokan. Her mission was more successful than could ever have been dreamed, because...
Nishtari,
Yes, Ankotep,
I love you.
I love you too.
If we were to marry, our kingdoms would be united.
Next to having you as my husband, that would be my dearest wish.
I wish it could be so.
Are you afraid your father would object?
No. Not my father.
You mean that woman he married, Mersegret?
Yes.
She is evil. She hates my country. She will bring war and disaster on all of us until she is stopped. What's that?
The bell for the dead. My father. My father.
The pharaoh was dead, struck down by some mysterious disease. Ankotep was the new pharaoh, sharing the throne with the queen mother, Mersegret.
But it is ridiculous for me to reign as the queen mother, Ankotep. I am less than 5 years your senior.
You were my father's wife.
You must forget that. Your father is dead. For the sake of the country, we should become man and wife.
For the sake of Mersegret, you mean?
Don't you find me attractive, as you once did?
I don't know how I ever did. Now that I know what real love is.
You mean that foreign child, Nishtari? I should have poisoned her the first day she entered this house.
As you did my father?
I had nothing to do with your father's death. I only pray to the gods he was still alive.
Good. You can pray for him and yourself as you join him in the shadow of the tomb. But you will be denied the right to share his great journey to the other side. You will be buried alive.
She was dragged, screaming, to the tomb. And these were her last words before they sealed it.
On you, Ankotep, my undying curse. And from my living tomb, threefold be the curse on the woman Nishtari, who stole you from me. Cheated of her death, down through the ages, I will wait for my revenge on her daughter, or the daughter of her daughters, down till the end of time.
Where did you read all this, Nesh?
I didn't.
And how do you know it?
I can't explain that. Except one way.
Yeah? How?
My nickname, Nesh, so close to Nishtari. Your name, Hank, almost like Ankotep. Your family name, Theodore. And the pharaoh, named Teokan. And your stepmother, Marcia. Is that so far from Mersegret? Can't you see it's happening all over again? The That all of us are the reincarnation of the original.
Do you know what you're saying?
Yes.
That my stepmother killed my father?
I think she did. And that Selim, whoever he is, helped to make an accident to cover it up.
How could you know that?
Because I am who I am.
You think you're a reincarnation of a girl who lived 3,000 years ago?
I'm sure of it. And I think, like her, I'm marked for death.
Look, unless... this is crazy. I mean, I haven't got the power to... No. The whole thing doesn't make sense.
Maybe it would be all right if we didn't open up her tomb.
Mercigret's? We don't have any idea where it is.
That's simple enough. It's right under Teokan's sarcophagus. All you have to do is step on this stone here.
Maybe you are reincarnated after all.
No. I was poking about here in the tomb yesterday, when your father came in. He didn't look well. I knew I was trespassing, so I hid. I saw him discover the way to open up the tomb under the sarcophagus. Then I heard someone else coming. I heard him say...
Who's that? Selim?
Yes, Professor Theodore.
Look what I found. Mercigret's tomb.
I see.
I'm not feeling too well. There's a shocking surprise for all of us here.
What is that?
As far as I can see, it's one huge arms cache. The terrorists must have discovered it before... I don't know what it is. I'm sick. Selim.
Yes, Professor.
I'm suddenly realizing how naive I've been. Your constant fight against this stick, all your resistance against its success. You knew all along, didn't you? You were trying to hide these weapons of destruction.
Since you are dying, I will admit it.
And my wife was in this with you?
We both believe the same cause.
You poisoned me somehow.
Why not? You come here to our world, remembering its ancient glory. We know that glory too, and we feel it must rise again.
But not on terms of terrorists. We're not allowed.
Too late.
At least my death
will look like nothing more than a sad accident. I promise you I can arrange that before the tomb is closed.
I don't know what to say, Nash.
Neither do I.
I mean, how can I prove any of this? How much did you really see?
Enough to call Selim a murderer and your stepmother an accomplice.
Now, did you see Selim topple the statue?
No, not actually. I was hiding.
How could we prove my stepmother poisoned him?
An autopsy.
No, it's too late. My father was cremated by his own request.
Look down in Mercigret's tomb. That arsenal of weapons in a tomb that was supposed to be empty. And those weapons aren't 3,000 years old.
That is quite correct, Miss Keane. They are modern weapons, and we have a use for them.
We?
Your father's wife and myself.
Marcia.
I'd hoped it wouldn't come to this, Hank. If you hadn't rejected me, it might all have been handled so simply.
You're in with this terrorist?
I was born in this part of the world. My roots are here.
They go back a long way. 3,000 years.
Selim, how are we going to dispose of them?
Get them out of here first. I have men who would lose them in the desert and protect our secret.
First catch your hair, then cook it.
No, Hank, don't!
Gotta take a chance!
No! No! Oh, here, Hank! Hank, here with me! What happened?
See through the dust. It looks like a cave in.
What caused it?
Pistol shot. Any loud noise in a cave or a catacomb can precipitate an avalanche. Gosh, we're just lucky the rock over our heads held.
What happened to Selim and Marcia?
They fell into the tomb and it collapsed.
Mercigret's tomb.
Yep.
We've got to get them out of there.
No chance. They're buried. and their war weapons with them.
We could have been buried there. And the weapons to make war might have been free.
Sheer luck. Or maybe the gods had something to do with it?
I think they had. Somebody prompted me to be... What would you call it? Clairvoyant?
Whatever they did, I'll settle for it. Also that the past is dead. Well, let's take a good, long, happy look at where we go from here, Nishtari.
I don't want to hear any of those old names again.
Okay, I'm with you. From now on, you're Vanessa, also known as, I hope, Mrs. Hank Theodore. As soon as it possibly can be arranged.
Can it be true that all of us, somehow, are incarnations restored from a past life? Many people believe profoundly in this. A large body of scientific research can implement the belief. And some of the world's most widespread religions subscribe to this faith. I can't give you any answers. I never try to. I bring you the stories as I find them. You decide what they mean.
Hi, Pat Summerall for True Value Hardware Stores to tell you that you can cut your home energy bill by as much as 15% simply by going without hot water. But if that sounds too drastic, then I suggest you install a True Value water heater. True Value water heaters are engineered to heat water quickly and efficiently. And each True Value water heater comes with complete install-it-yourself instructions so you can save even more. You'll find a selection of sizes in both gas and electric models available only at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
I'm Steve Keneally. Do you know a four-letter word that means help for the needy? The word is CARE. For 35 years, CARE, the International Aid and Development Organization, has been providing food to hungry children and the means for destitute people to grow their own food and build better lives for their families. You can help because CARE is your personal answer to human needs.
Please send your check or money order to CARE, Box 576, New York 10156, or local care office.
One last comment on a strange story. Work was begun again on Mersegret's tomb, and it became an international story that hidden in it were enough weapons to have catapulted the Middle East into a catastrophic war. Lost in the headlines, and even in the small print, was the fact that in the small sarcophagus buried there, whoever had occupied it was a handful of dust. Our cast included Paul Hecht, Teri Keane, Jada Rowland, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
You are an accomplice.
I don't know what you gentlemen mean. What's an accomplice?
My dear child, it means a person who helps another in the performance of a crime.
I never did any such thing.
I believe, Rosie, I think she's telling the truth.
What do you know about that letter?
What letter?
The sooner you admit to your participation in this felony, the easier for you.
I don't know what letter you're talking about.
You see, Dickens, you cannot deal with people who are unable to tell the truth. We will arrest this young woman on suspicion of complicity and grand larceny and theft.
But I haven't done anything.
Inspector, may I have a few minutes alone with the suspect?
Yes, if you want.
This is E.G. Marshall, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Some of the top stories your news people will be following for you as we head toward the midnight hour. Talks between the United Auto Workers and the nation's largest auto producer seem to be headed for an all-night session. But a UAW vice president says he is optimistic about the outcome of those meetings. A key witness in the Shannon Davis Moore case is died accidentally. Connie Green will have details. A one-day garbage collectors walkout is over, and Bill Johnson will fill us in on that. And at the top of the hour, CBS News covers the world. Weather Command says we're going to have a few morning flurries, then partly sunny later this afternoon, highs in the low 30s. Right now, 23 degrees.
News Radio 95.
WWJ. CBS News, a standoff at Cali Airport in Colombia. This is Rob Armstrong reporting on the CBS radio network. 7 armed hijackers commandeered a Colombian Airlines jet Wednesday afternoon just after it took off from Bogota. The jet returned to the Colombian capital and later flew to the western city of Cali. From there, several different versions of the story have emerged. Wire service reports indicate the jet tried to take off after as many as 86 people were released. The jet originally carried 128. As it